obviously, I've been doing story contribution for Sports Illustrated SI Golf for quite some time. But I had a little bit of a special request kind of come along my desk, if you will. And it was from the NFL football side over at SI. And they're like, Dan, we know you're not terribly far from Green Bay. What do you think? You go, head up to the draft, you cover it, and kind of do your storytelling thing from there. Instantly, I panicked because I don't watch any football at all. I don't know. I got a lot of stuff I'm trying to watch. I don't have time. So I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't even know any of these people. I kind of actually don't even know how this thing works. I didn't even know the draft was like a gigantic thing. Turns out it is. It's a gigantic thing. They're like, no. What we'd like you to do is just kind of tell like what it's like to go, like the experience and what it's like to be there. And I'm like,
oh, perfect for you.
Well, yeah, I'm like, I can do that. I can talk about going places and doing stuff. Easy.
Apparently it's a really big thing.
Dude, I've been like
huge.
At my buddy's house
Huge.
where all of a sudden everybody has a laptop. They're sitting around the table. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, we got the draft. I'm like, all right, call me when this is over.
Oh, that's different. That's their fantasy football
okay.
draft.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
either.
forget that one.
But
too.
did you, speaking of the
Rich
draft
is
and
like,
stuff like
dude.
that, did you guys see the prank call that happened?
Yeah, hold on. We'll get there. So part of me attending this and having Sports Illustrated credentials, and one of the things that was added to my credential was a photo pit pass. Okay, I don't know what that is either. I'm like, they're like, there was like details coming into my email, like about the photo pit and how it all works. I didn't even know where it was. So like, I have this like credential to go to a photo pit. I don't know where it's at. And, they're like, I think everybody else there like knows how this thing works because like they all like went to the said photo pit, and there was like, you had to wear like one of those like armbands that like said like photo pit pass, like to show that you're credentialed to be in there. And they all go tearing off out of the media center. And I'm like going, I'm like trying to find my batteries. I'm like lost and confused. And I go heading out. They're all gone. And I'm like, I don't know where to go. And like, I go up to like this first gate, and like you have the badge and you scan it. Everyone's like, you can't come through this gate. I'm like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be going. And I asked like a security guy, I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get to the photo pit. He was like, what's that? I'm like, that's the same thing I want to know. Trying to figure that out. And so I just kept going to like different entrances until my badge worked. And that took me to like backstage. And I was like, oh, cool. Like I'm supposed to be here apparently. And then backstage kind of led you like, and the way it was, there's the big draft theater. And there's sort of like a divider. There's the massive sea of people. And then sort of like, an open area for like people to walk through and, emergency people and cameras and everybody to get through. And then there's inside the draft theater where there's actual seats and the lights and you're like kind of like in the thing. So here I am in this sort of like bridge way between massive crowd and up close crowd. And still I'm like, I don't know where the photo pit is. And one of the things in the rules, it said that the media members and photo pit access people, you can't just wander around. They're like, we want you in your designated spot. There's no wandering within the draft theater. Well, how do I find where the thing is without wandering around? And nobody knows where it is. I don't know where it is. So like, I was trying to always walk like I knew what I was doing, but then I would just get to the other side. And now I'm over here and not knowing what I'm doing still either. And
imagine you like sprint walking with aggression,
power walking, got like my camera with the,
so you have the thing on your arm, right?
Yeah.
And like you just see one person with it?
Nope.
That's crazy.
None of them.
None of them.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, I'll like start going up different aisles with like authority, like walking sternly. And I finally got to a spot and I'm like standing off to the side. I'm like, I'm not in the right spot, but I feel like I'm out of the way enough where at least maybe I won't get in trouble for like a minute while I'm like scanning around. And I look up like at the stage because there's a bunch of stuff happening and some announcers coming on. And as I look at the stage, I see the armband people like pressed up against the stage. Like they are like literally like touching the stage, standing at floor level. I'm like, oh, well, apparently that's the photo pit. And that's what the photo pit is. It is this like little lane reserved for like the 4 feet between the, like just coming off the stage with like a little half wall. And so I walk up there with authority and head right on up. And I go in and I'm like, the stage is like almost eye level. And I'm like, I'm here. I've never been to a draft. I didn't know what the draft is. I don't know where it is. I don't know what to expect. And they said there was like an estimated 700,000 people who came out to Green Bay for this entire event over the course of the weekend. And I am pressed face first up against the stage, like Roger Goodell, as he would come down and like congratulate some of these guys, like was like bumping into my arm. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, how are you? You know, I'm supposed to be over here. You could tell by my arm cuff. It was very
I like
interesting.
that
And
you
up
knew
close.
who Roger Goodell was, Dan.
They
Good
announced
job.
his name.
He's the dude that like announces the people. That's an ex-football player.
The head of the NFL.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's the main dude.
Did you-
He's
that
actually
dude.
there in the picture. So like for the first round of the draft, he would like congratulate each person, give them a big giant hug, and then like hold up their New Jersey with them. Not New Jersey like the state. Their new jersey that they'll be wearing.
Yeah.
They're New
laundry.
England.
Did you guys see that for each person as they came out, they had their name already on the jersey, like that they were just picked by and announced? Did you guys see any of the behind the scenes and how that all worked?
No.
Rich, you caught it?
Oh, it's so impressive. I've seen it several times. It is so impressive.
Maybe
Oh,
Rich
so-
should explain, are you?
So this isn't like a brand new thing. I thought I just discovered it.
Question before you answer that, because you are our football connoisseur, Rich, and you always ask me about golf stuff. Was Favre there?
No,
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but like probably not. Like
No, he didn't come over and see me. I didn't, No.
I have 2 questions.
Go on.
First one is, how long did it take for you to get comfortable? Because, this is not your jam.
I could tell you exactly.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. And Gary, you can
I will not.
let me know if this was what you thought.
Okay.
There were different areas to find comfort in, not the hotel. Thank
What's
you.
wrong with you?
Terrible
His
jokes.
hee with the Michael Jackson glove was the best. Go ahead.
Leave me alone. Nobody knows what you're talking about.
'Cause you're not watching the show.
So I go in, and the first place I do is I have to find the media center. I don't know where that is. I don't know where to go. I'm asking questions. I'm scanning my badge. Finally, I end up in the right room. This is the biggest media center I've ever been in my life. It was like part of like an expo hall or like a convention center. Like it was like a corridor within that. It was huge, like 1,000 seats maybe. So I go in there and it said, make sure you only sit in the photo work area. Well, so now I've got rules. Like there's only like certain places I'm supposed to sit. I don't know where that was. Instantly, I'm not comfortable. But then I see a bunch of people with these armbands and kind of start putting it all together. I'm like, that's the photo work area. I grabbed a seat. I sat down. I didn't even unpack my stuff. I was just like, cool. I'm like in a place where I'm kind of supposed to be. I'm comfortable, kind of. There's media dining, eat a little bit, whatever. Now it's time to go out there.
How did the media
is
dining
sick.
relate to like other medias that you've been to? Like TGL and like, just other ones that you've been to.
All right. Well, we'll say like the peak, the pinnacle is the Masters. The
Dining
food
wise?
Oh,
yeah,
it's in forever.
absolutely.
Are you talking Mercedes Masters or just
No, I'm
Masters in
talking
general?
about the
Both.
standard media dining hall
Okay.
within the media arena, as they call it. That's like the pinnacle. And then I'm not going to name the names, but some of the very small market PGA Tour events, it's like boxed sandwiches like in a fridge that have been in there all day, kind of like 7-Eleven, you know what I mean? So, I would say between those two, from box sandwiches at 7-Eleven and the Masters, where you have a sit-down restaurant with a menu and servers, it would be from a 1 to a 10. This was a buffet, had some nice like roast beef on it, had like some chicken cutlets, little rice, little pasta, little salad bar. I would say it was like a 6.2 for media dining.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
All right. Not to derail more, but how come I've never heard that at the Masters you get sit down restaurant with menu and ordering?
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Oh,
they
yeah.
treat media guys like royalty.
Yeah.
You told me.
And there's several different places to consume food as Masters Media, which is all complimentary for coming to support and provide media coverage of the event. There's the grab and go area, which is like a reach in cooler. And that thing has the entire menu of the Masters menu that you always see that goes around, all the sandwiches, everything. That's grab and go. Then there's like a cafe style coffee shop where you can like, oh, can I do a latte, no foam, half calf, whatever. They're doing all that. And then there's like, soda machines and everything. That's just the quick grab and go area. But then next to that is it's only open certain hours. There's like a breakfast serving and a lunch serving. And in there, they're like, how many? I'm like, oh, just table for one, because I'm a weirdo and I don't know anybody here. And grab a seat. They hand you a menu. A server comes over. What can I get you to drink? I mean, it's like going out to eat. Like except for there's no prices on it. It doesn't cost anything. And it's just a fantastic media dining experience.
Do you leave a tip?
So what I found out is you're not supposed to, because you're not supposed to tip on like Augusta property as non-members. It was like a whole thing. They're compensated properly. A lot of them, and what's interesting is a lot of them are like interning for the various positions. So like they might be interning for hospitality. So on their resume, I got to work at the Masters in the hospitality department. And it's a huge deal for a lot of these guys. And same thing, like grounds crew. There'll be people like who are, going to college for crewing grounds.
Agriculture.
Thank you. And same thing, they come out and it's part of their internship, whole thing. Back to the NFL draft.
Sorry.
Maybe like a 6.2 for the media dining. Solid. So me being comfortable. Eat, hang out, time to go find the photo pit. Instantly uncomfortable again. Wandering around, marching back and forth, super quick, trying to look authoritative when I'm walking. I don't know if it's working. I had game face on. Finally find my spot. I get settled in. Within like 2.5 minutes, I'm comfortable again because I know I'm like where I'm supposed to be. Now I'm having a great time. I'm like snapping pictures and all this stuff. But I tell you what, the other photographers were on like a whole other level. Like I was like the new kid in class. I was like operating at like kindergarten level. So
you're like Gary at TGL.
one of the things in there, it said there's going to be hardline internet for camera crew in the photo pit. I'm like, what do you like bring your laptop or whatever? Now these guys, here's what they're doing. I'm not even kidding. They have like their camera and then they'll have like an iPhone like mounted to the side of it and they'll have like a cable going into it. And then they'll offload the photos to the camera. And then there's like a dongle that they'll put the Ethernet cable into for the iPhone. So it gets maximum speed internet. And like when a draft pick happens, whoever it is, like is so-and-so is chose for the Green Bay Packers, they'll like snap a bunch of pictures. And as soon as the guy leaves stage, they hurry up and hook all these wires up and send it back to their news organization so they can be the first people to post a picture of whatever pick just happened or whatever moment. And like here I am over here, like with my camera, like I don't get mine off like my memory card till like midnight. You know what I mean? Like I'm like way behind. I had no idea.
New tactic for like PGA tournaments and majors, send it to Josh instantly.
That was the whole thing though. I didn't have this whole like setup where I could be uploading 100 images that I just snapped, which could be like a gig. And they're doing it like immediately with all this high speed stuff and all these dongles, whole thing. And there's, you know what?
So your most comfort level was?
You
consistently felt it?
I would say my highest comfort level was when I was not in the photo pit and I was out just sort of like roaming the greater grounds, like walking through the stadium and just like eating the food and just kind of cruising around. Like when I was far enough away from the area was with all the rules, just kind of free floating.
The amount of beanbags to be played there. Oh my God.
Oh, dude, you'd be winning cheese curds for days.
Oh my God.
The food.
They call it cornhole, though.
Dude, the food is a great time. Friday, sort of like the middle day, because, Thursday, round one of the draft, like that is like the biggest part of the spectacle that I, sort of observed. The Friday sort of was like this in-between day. It was like raining. It was cold. The players, like when they would announce them, weren't coming out on stage like the first day. And I'm like, what are you guys taking pictures of? Like, what are you guys doing? You're all in here mashed up against the stage to take a picture of a screen of the guy who's at home in his living room, like crying and, like his like mom's videoing him or something like that. What are we doing pictures of? So I didn't stick around Friday. You know what I did? Gary, do you know what I did?
Hung out with the fans.
No, I didn't hang out with any fans. I went to the Vince Lombardi Steakhouse. Oh yeah, I treated myself.
I remember that was fixed. Yeah, what you were saying was not my idea of when you got comfortable.
Perfect.
Nice.
You know what? I wanted the full Green Bay experience. And it turns out Vince Lombardi's pretty popular up there. I don't think he's around anymore.
Who Vince Lombardi is?
He was one of like the first really important coaches for the Green Bay Packers. He won the first 2 Super Bowls. And they later went on to name the Super Bowl trophy after him.
All things you learned this last weekend.
I learned it while I was sitting in the restaurant.
Or reading the menu. Yep.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
Thank you.
That's impressive.
And there was actually a replica of the Lombardi trophy in Vince Lombardi's Steakhouse.
Not gonna lie, my not knowing, I was about to be like, and they named the college trophy after him, which is the Heisman, which I'm totally wrong, foot and mouth.
Heisman was actually his uncle. So it was all in the family.
Wow.
You know,
That's crazy.
Wasn't it Joe Heisman?
I just lost my headphones. I guess.
Aries reaction.
Wasn't that Joe Heisman?
you're correct.
Yeah.
Uncle Joe.
So how was the food? Like, is it fantastic? It was like cheese curds on the menu, I'm assuming. Was everything just covered in cheese or?
There was a lot of cheesy items.
Yeah.
But here's what I liked about it. It was super old school.
Nice.
Like super like dimly lit. And the thing was like a museum, like a shrine to Vince Lombardi. Like every wall, every square inch of the whole place was covered in some form of memorabilia from like the moment you walk in, like aligning the walls. And then like against the walls were like these like glass display cases with like, I don't know, like a pair of his like slippers or something from like the night he went to bed before he won something or whatever. Or there'd be like handwritten letters to his daughter because he's like, hey, he wrote, I love this one. I read it. He wrote her a letter to say that when he gets some free time, he's going to call her. What world?
Just kind of painting the picture a little bit. When you say it's like the old school, is it like old school, super high end, dark oak, leather, mahogany, like that kind of high end?
Like,
or is it more like sportsy memorabilia, sports bar?
No, it's
Like Perry's and Oak Brook.
like if they were to try and make a like restaurant vibe that feels like the movie Casino.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Or something like that. Like old school, like mafia kind of movie feel, like rich leather chairs that have been in here for probably 40 plus years. You know what I mean? Like we're not updating the joint. We did it right once and we're going to leave it this way. We got the same cookware or, you know, serving dishware from the whole time.
So Chicago from the whole time.
The whole time.
In the lunchroom.
Yeah, there's
them guys.
the old Vince Lombardi's Steakhouse.
Oh, not this accent again.
You guys want to know what I ate?
Yeah.
All right.
Go on.
I was going to try not to go as extravagant as I did at the Tiger Woods restaurant. If you guys remember that, I went nuts. I just went way overboard. I was eating dessert
Which was
for
better,
lunch.
Tiger or that one?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Here's what I will say. This was definitely like a way higher end menu type restaurant. Like, I think the steaks were between like $60 and $90.
Oh.
That's not too bad.
It's actually
though.
cheaper than I thought.
Yeah, but that's not with anything. I mean, that's for the steak alone to get like an $80 steak.
Still cheaper.
Oh, you know what? I don't know what you were thinking, so I can't tell you how this should be higher or lower than what you were thinking. And in fact, nobody knows what you're thinking. Rich, do you feel like that would be a higher end restaurant for those prices?
100%.
Even though Gary
restaurant.
didn't
I mean,
think that's
a
high.
more that's higher than like a Morton's and a Gibson's
I
and
thought
stuff
so.
like that. So.
Yeah. Well, and also it was connected to a Hilton hotel. So I don't know. Did we get like that little like hotel bump in prices? They're like, listen, you're here on your expense account. You know, this is coming out of your marketing budget. It's fine. All right. First thing I had, I wasn't even going to get this. I wasn't going to do appetizers. I was going to do like either a soup or a salad, steak, couple sides, get out of here, have a nice night. You know what I mean? I got a lot to do the next day. The server, she says, you got to try the Wagyu beef Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. I'm like, I am screwed. If I'm opening up with this as a solo diner, you know what I mean? We look here. This thing is surrounded. It's swimming in a sweet chili oil.
Ooh.
And then in the middle behind it is like a house-made ranch. Okay. And then we've got these egg rolls just nestled right in top, just bathing in all this juice. They were fantastic. Okay. They were absolutely fantastic. The sweet chili oil kind of working together, getting some of that creamy ranch all into this Wagyu beef.
$22.
That's a good guess. I don't remember the specific. You
You gave me a slight
menu.
compliment, so we'll just take it.
Okay.
Love it.
Very good, very good. Okay, but then we got into what I wanted to order first. After that, I went back to the well. I'm like, I got to try the lobster bisque. We did the lobster bisque down at Tiger Woods restaurant, but see, this kind a little different. They have in the middle of the bowl, they put like the pile of like the lobster and like some other veg. and then they come out and they pour it around it, do like the whole waterfall thing right at the table. They're dumping it right on there.
Which, I mean, that sounds fantastic, but like, okay, lobster bisque in Florida, right there on the ocean, lobster bisque in Wisconsin.
Yeah, in Northeast Wisconsin.
You got to be
Right?
careful how
Like-
you say that. I just realized, like,
What did you say?
he says veg.
Oh,
You got to.
well, it was all under the rug till you brought it up.
I'm still missing it, but we'll move right along. And
I'll tell you after.
I'll be careful not to abbreviate vegetables anymore.
Oh man,
It's offensive.
it's not offensive. It just sounds something.
Moving on.
funny.
All right. It was good.
It was.
It was actually
$60.
really good. It was a little thinner. It was a little more of like a little more brothiness to it. It wasn't, sometimes it's dense. You're kind of scooping through it like a chowder.
But you got the show.
You got the show. Well, and it's got to be able to flow. They can't be, you know what I mean? They can't be like whacking the back of the ladle to get the stuff out.
Are you spooning this thing, or you got to like dip it in chips or?
Well, here's what
bread?
I'll tell you. You can kind of see it in the top corner. I didn't even feature this in any of my photos. They came up with a bread basket
Ooh.
with this like garlic herb butter that was like savory, but like also a little sweet. Because it's fun sometimes to get like a little sweetness in your dinner roll. That was in the butter. And so you slather that up on the warm bread.
Shellacking.
And then you just dunk that right in the bisque. I am telling you, that was like a top 5 experience right there. I mean, listen, it could have been from a long day at the photo pit over there at the NFL draft.
Or finding it.
Yeah, and the chaos of finding my spot and not getting kicked out. But it was fantastic. It was just a good bisque. Overall, very good bisque. We'll keep moving. I don't want to be on this all day, guys. All right, listen. Everybody calm down.
Dan's hogging the fan too.
Gary, I brought my own fan. You're welcome to do it. It's 82 degrees in the studio. We have way too many lights.
We're so much nicer on the pod to each other.
We really are. Isn't that crazy that this is the friendly version?
Right.
All right, let's keep moving, Josh. Come on. What are we doing?
Oh,
Here's what I went for. I went for the bone-in ribeye with a dollop of umami butter on top.
Umami.
What is that, mommy?
Umami butter.
Daddy, what does that
Umami.
umami mean?
So umami is this sort of like a flavor invention. You've got like, what are they? Like sweet, salty, sour, like whatever, like all the standard flavors. They came up with a new one, a few years back. I think it was in like 98. I'm not sure.
I love it.
They came up with this new flavor called umami. And so it was like all the rage. There's like umami burgers and whatever. But it's this sort of like new flavor that hits multiple categories. It is a balance between savory and salty and sweet and all these things all at once. Soy sauce lives a little bit in the umami category.
Isn't umami like the beans that you eat? Like
That's
when you get
edamame.
That's
Close.
edamame.
And you always got to be careful which bowl you eat out of. You never want to go into the scraps. Look for the ones that still have salt on them. You know what I mean? That's a telltale sign. This was fantastic. This steak was, cut like butter. It was prime. It was prime. They were serving prime beef, but the butter on top was just an unbelievable treat. I've never had umami butter on a $65 steak. And let me tell you what, it made it taste like 70 all day.
Nice.
All day. All right. What else? I had a couple sides. I did the mushrooms and onions with it. It's a classic. I'm in an old, dark, Dungeness sort of, not Dungeness crab. Everybody calm down. You guys, I've had enough.
Isn't that a crab, though?
I love the reaction to the
Thank you.
non-reaction.
Isn't that a crab?
That's not what I'm talking about. I was saying the place had like a dungeon vibe, like a Dungeness vibe.
Dungeons
you eat all
and
this, or
Dragons?
did you
Oh
bring
my
some
God,
back?
I want to get out of this segment. I'm so miserable right now.
Well, vamonos.
No, here's the problem. I had so many leftovers. My leftover bag wasn't like one of the little doggy bags. This was like a Great Dane bag. Like this thing was, it was like a grocery bag. It was full. We'll get there. I'll explain what
was
happened
that?
to it. This was their whipped, loaded, mashed. Had to get some cheese in. This was the second occurrence of cheese. We had cheese back in the egg roll, cheese over here on the whipped, loaded mash. It was so light and fluffy, I felt like I was on a diet. Okay.
and their butter. They're known for their butter too.
These guys are on the next butter level. I will tell you. Those are unbelievable. And then you start dunking the bread in there. It's out of control. I was eating alone. No one was there to judge me. Rounded the whole thing off. I wasn't going to get dessert.
Oh
I walked
my
in the place saying I'm not
gosh.
getting dessert. And she goes, do you want to hear about our off-menu dessert item? I'm like, well,
Off menu.
okay, Nancy, thanks a lot. She's like, we have
That was her name too, wasn't it?
we have a creme brulee flight.
Probably.
I'm like, I didn't know there's flights of creme brulee. I didn't know we were flighting this thing. She goes, oh yeah, absolutely. And there is a vanilla, like what is Nutella? A hazelnut. There's a vanilla, hazelnut, an espresso, and a caramel.
Is this like a pudding?
Caramel or caramel.
Yeah, what is creme
caramel.
brulee?
It's basically like the base layer is like a custard. It's a fancy word for pudding.
No. Nice.
And then on top they put like a heavy granule sugar, like a white sugar on top. And then the brulee process is where they then take a torch and melt that sugar that you sprinkled right on top of the creme. And it
So
gets
it's hard. Like you literally
Yeah.
like tap it with your spoon.
it breaks
Ding,
like
ding,
glass.
Interesting.
And so as you're eating like the creaminess of the bottom layers, you get like this
Custard.
crunchy bits of sugar shards that have been like sort of browned and caramelized a little bit. It's fantastic. Josh is making a face. You don't like pudding or you don't like sugar?
I just don't. I have a weird thing with sweets.
Okay.
Josh, you have a weird thing with everything.
That's
I
facts.
do. I do. Like I don't like frosting on cake, so like I wouldn't have the whipped cream.
I'm
So
sorta
what do you
with
have,
that.
like
Oh.
birthday bread?
Yeah.
Like what
Basically-
is cake without frosting?
Basically, like I just flip my slice of cake over and just cut it right in where the divider between.
Kind of what I do though.
Yeah.
Do you
A little
like
bit of
chocolate
frosting,
pudding
though.
like a snack pack?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you like vanilla pudding?
No.
Oh,
Never mind.
tapioca. Moving on. But do you remember your
It's
bill?
not even pudding.
cost?
It's a custard.
I do.
Okay. Whoever gets closest wins. What?
Here's what I'll tell you real quick.
Okay.
I ranked them in order as this. It went the caramel, the hazelnut, the vanilla, the espresso.
Okay.
Didn't love the
Wow,
espresso.
espresso was last.
I
Oh,
didn't.
so you ate them all.
Well, I'm not going to get a flight and only try two of them. What
I
do you want
just
me to
thought
do
you
here?
get to
That's
pick one
kinda
of the
dumb.
four.
No.
Why would they?
That's how it
know
goes.
how this.
Why would they make
Lombardi's-
4 of them just for you to eat 2 of them so they had to throw out
I
the
honestly
other 2?
thought it was the dessert tray in which you got to see.
Which I love that. I love when they wheel out the whole
And then
thing
you
and you get to hand
pick.
pick. It's a great
So,
time.